Your Excellency, Acting President Ashwan Adine, distinguished ministers and officials of the Republic of Suriname, members of the National Assembly, fellow ambassadors and members of the Diplomatic and Honorary Consular Corps, distinguished guests, friends, and colleagues. Good evening and welcome. Tricia and I are pleased to welcome you to the Embassy to share in the celebration of American Independence Day. 242 years ago today, the American Continental Congress formally adopted the Declaration of Independence. By doing so, our founding fathers declared the American colonies free and independent states. At the time of the Declaration's signing, the Revolutionary War had already begun and several major battles had already taken place. The Declaration was not intended as a declaration of war. Rather, it was designed to serve different purposes. It listed the colonists' grievances against King George III in order to show the legitimacy of their actions. It encouraged foreign nations to help the colonies in their struggle against Great Britain. The Declaration was also intended to convince reluctant colonists that loyalty to the Crown was a lost cause. But perhaps most importantly, the Declaration was intended to show the Founding Fathers' position on the purpose of government. Of its many famous and oft-quoted lines, none are more familiar than the first few sentences of its second paragraph. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That is the promise of America. As an American political observer recently put it, America is not great because it is rich and powerful, but because it is humane, fair, inclusive, democratic, and principled. Whenever we have fallen short of those values, of that promise of America, it has always been the people who have fulfilled the ideals of the Declaration. It has been we the people who have rallied together to bring about the necessary changes and to compel our government to correct injustice, from the emancipation of slaves to the civil rights movement to the protection of one's right to privacy and individual conscience. As I approach 3 years in Suriname and the completion of my tenure as ambassador, I am convinced more than ever that the American and Surinamese people share these values and our hopes for the future. That is why it has been my privilege to work with government officials, business leaders, and non-governmental organizations to build and strengthen relations between our countries. In the medical field, for instance, the President's Emergency Program for AIDS Relief, known as PEPFAR, has contributed more than $3 million US in the past 3 years alone toward the goal of HIV/AIDS eradication in Suriname. Our relations are marked by strong trade and growing direct investment. And with the prospect of offshore oil discoveries, there is the potential to significantly deepen that engagement. And I want to recognize here the exceptional work that U.S. companies are carrying out in Suriname in the field of corporate social responsibility. As is our embassy, American businesses are committed to a better future for Suriname and its people. Mr. Acting President, as you know, the United States is also working with your authorities to strengthen banking and financial oversight and regulation, which will enhance your international market position and aid your efforts to attract foreign direct investment. And I want to especially thank President Bouterse and your government for its outstanding actions and support on vital security and counterterrorism matters. I believe we can and will continue to develop our partnership on regional and international questions in the months and years ahead. I'm also happy tonight to welcome distinguished Suriname women such as Cynthia McLeod, and although she couldn't be here tonight, to acknowledge the great efforts of your Foreign Minister, Yildiz Polak-Begley, to build our bilateral relationship. Noting these talented Surinamese women helps bring me to the theme of tonight's celebration, the huge but too often unacknowledged force for change that has been women in the United States. But that is changing, And so tonight we celebrate a constellation of remarkable women who helped shape and continue to shape American history. You saw these women on the large screen as you entered the embassy this evening. You can also see them represented by displays that are placed around the embassy grounds. I ask that you take a moment to read about these formidable women. Through their actions and accomplishments, every one of them has demonstrated that they are a leader and a pioneer. They also serve as examples by showing us that we all have the power to achieve greatness. In fact, their stories remind me of the old expression that opportunities don't make appointments. None of these women were waiting for someone else to do what they knew needed to be done. Their achievements in literature, the arts, science, sports, politics, and social justice not only define them as individuals, but help to give all women an equal and full voice in shaping who we are as Americans. Although these women may have lived in different eras and excelled in different fields, they all have one thing in common. They had the courage, the ingenuity, the determination, and the vision to achieve greatness in their respective fields, no matter the obstacles in their way. And in so doing, they became examples and role models, not just for girls and women, but also for boys and men, not just for Americans, but as an inspiration across the globe and across the generations. Simply put, without these incredible women, America would not have achieved all that it has. The vast majority of us do not have to look far to find a remarkable woman. In fact, we are surrounded by them. They are our mothers, our sisters, our wives, our friends, and our colleagues. And I just want to take a moment tonight to acknowledge the remarkable women in my family who are here. My sister Marianne, my daughter Katie, and of course my wonderful wife Tricia, who has been by my side through 38 years of diplomatic service. Each woman has a story to tell about overcoming obstacles, realizing a dream, or about sacrificing their dream so that another may succeed. Before I conclude my remarks, I'd like to especially thank the many sponsors that are making this night possible. The bonds created with local American businesses, as well as Surinamese businesses representing American brands, are crucial as we deepen our relationship with Suriname. Thank you very much for your generosity. And of course, I want to thank the entire staff of the embassy, without whose dedicated work this event and my last 3 years of service here in Suriname would not have been possible. So thank you all for coming. Light up your glow sticks and enjoy the evening.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Prince Richard Nolan and Madam Nolan, members of the National Assembly, members of the Council of Ministers, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I have the honor to represent the President of the Republic of Suriname, His Excellency Desiree Delano Bouterse, at this occasion on which to bring you the following message on his behalf as we celebrate this very memorable occasion. And I quote, "You are gathered here tonight to celebrate and commemorate the 242nd anniversary of the independence of the United States of America, which marks an event of significant historical importance for its government and people. On this special occasion, I would like to congratulate you on behalf of the government and people of the Republic of Suriname, and on my own behalf. The United States remains an important partner in the international, political, and economic arena and hallmarks a legacy of individual freedom, the rule of law, and a great champion of innovation and development. We celebrate these achievements and cherish together the fundamental rights of freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and freedom of religion. It remains a challenge for the international community that still millions around the world are denied these basic rights, but at the same time, fully enjoying these in Suriname since they are anchored in our Constitution as well. The 4th of July signifies the commemoration of the adoption of the Declaration of Independence of the United States of America, which embodies the important principles of freedom and liberty. This implies a message that sound that should resonate with people all over the world to enjoy freedom and as such act as sovereign and independent citizens regardless of their race, ethnicity, religion, or economic status. Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, on this day, I would also like to reflect on the 42 years of diplomatic relations between the Republic of Suriname and the United States of America, which were established on January 23rd, 1976. In the past decades, our nations have developed a long and productive bilateral relationship in a spirit of friendship, cooperation, and of course, mutual understanding. Mr. Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, collaboration at the bilateral level between our countries is traditionally strong in various areas, particularly trade, education, health, humanitarian aid, technical assistance, and the fight against transnational organized crime, illicit drug and human trafficking, as well as cooperation in the field of the military and security. Suriname appreciates the technical assistance in various fields of cooperation provided by your government. Non-governmental organizations and the US-based institutions play an important role in helping to preserve Suriname's rainforest. The government of Suriname is appreciative of support provided by the US government for the WISE RED program on deforestation and forest degradation to raise awareness concerning the importance of protecting rainforests. At the same token, the United States of America remains one of our key partners in trade. US companies have long-standing investments in the history of the extractive industry, including bauxite and gold. Regrettably, a trusted company like Alcoa decided to discontinue its operations in Suriname a few years ago, and consequently, we look forward to build constructively on what has been an impeccable affiliation. And therefore, my government welcomes alternative ways to sustain and create new investment opportunities, particularly with the United States of America. Mr. Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to reiterate that the government strongly emphasizes the implementation of transparent, consultative, and efficient policies to this end. It is my firm belief that only through mutually coordinated efforts we will be in a better position to confront challenges coming our way. Furthermore, Suriname remains committed to broaden, deepen, and intensify the relations between both our countries at the bilateral, regional, and multilateral levels. The relationship and the relations between the Republic of Suriname and the United States of America, Mr. Ambassador, are founded on solid principles, which are embedded in our common aspiration to achieve tangible results for the benefit and well-being of our people. Mr. Ambassador, in closing, I send best wishes to President Trump, the government, and the people of the United States of America on this special occasion. End of quote. Ambassador Nolan, distinguished guests, as I reflect on the true meaning of this celebration, it seems fitting to share some words of wisdom of a remarkable contemporary American poet, Maya Angelou. And I quote, "If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude." Unquote. The words uttered above indicate the fervency with which the American freedom fighters have rejected their status quo and battled for freedom, which is enjoyed today. Excellency, may I now invite you to join me in a toast to the continued relationship between the Republic of Suriname and the United States of America and the well-being of our people. May God bless the Republic of Suriname, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you.
Well, sometimes I go out and look off this water. come home, and my body's been fast. I've been some tender here, and the way you like this.